For our closing conversation, please welcome to the stage the Director General of COP28, Ambassador Majid Al-Suwaidi, for a conversation on shaping the agenda for COP28.
There's so much to build on what has been said today and the points that were just made by Angela. I'd like to hear from you. I understand and know that COP28 has a real and earnest focus on inclusion. And so I'm curious, when you think about a just transition and just and equitable transition and adaptation, what does that mean to you, and how do those ideas, that understanding and principles translate into the COP agenda?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure. I don't know if I can do as good as your previous panelists and even Angela. I think I'll try my best. You know, we've been around the world visiting with everybody we can over this last year, and we're less than 50 days away from COP. And I think that the one thing that I've learned along the way is that we can't solve these global challenges by having exclusive conversations with small groups of people. We need to bring everybody together. We need to focus, as was mentioned in previous discussions, on people. We need to make it real for people. And we need to start to think about how we make it hopeful, about how we make it about a future that we want to give people, rather than a conversation where we're always talking about what we're taking away from people. Our focus for COP28 is around 4 areas. It's around that just energy transition. How do we decarbonize the energy system we have today while we build up this new energy future we want? We can't continue to tell people that we need to change their energy system without giving them an alternative. How do we fix finance? We've heard that from the panels that we've just discussed, and I know that that's a big part of the conversation here. We can't do this if we don't see the mobilization of finance to the developing world, to emerging markets, where the emissions we know are going to grow. And how do we make it about people and their lives and their livelihoods? How do we make it real when you talk about adaptation? By the way, that's good for all of us. And then how do we do that in a way that's inclusive, that brings everybody together in a unified way, rather than excluding groups or not including the people who can make the changes that we need to see happen?
You talk about the transition and the energy transition in particular, and it was mentioned earlier, some of the challenges in South Africa, for example, as there's a transition from coal, and the acute need to focus on retraining, jobs, and the economic transition that will take place, and the economic opportunity in that diversification and in that transition. And so, coming from the UAE, I'm wondering how you're thinking about that and what you're prioritizing in terms of the energy transition, and how to ensure that the risks are mitigated, the potential dislocation is addressed, and other challenges.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we are proud that we've come from a country where our leadership recognized the need for us to transform our economy years ago. I mean, we started to diversify our economy, I think, from day one when we were founded as a very young country. And that was because we were a country, before we had oil and gas, we were a country that was based off of pearl diving, and we learned from the invention of the artificial pearl, where we lost our industry overnight, that you can have a natural resource and that can be taken away by a technology transformation. And that's the same thing we see for oil and gas and for other fossil fuels. We have new energies that are coming down the road. We're already on a direction to new and cleaner types of energy. We need to be investing in that and in the future. And that's why we developed Masdar. And now Masdar is one of the leading renewable energy agencies in the world. And our COP president, the chairman of Masdar, is really passionate about building the new energy system. But more than that, our economy today is 70% non-oil and gas. Most people think of us as an oil and gas country. In fact, we're not. 70% of our economy is already diversified. And that's because our leadership saw from the very beginning that we need to remove our dependence from this one resource. And that gives us more resilience, but that's true for everybody. We need to now translate that to everybody, and we need to start to be more thoughtful about how we help people to move from those old industries to new industries, and how we create new opportunities and incentivize them so that their young people and their children can have new jobs and new types of opportunities.
And when you think about bringing others to the table in that process to ensure that those benefits are felt and experienced by everyone and around the world, at COP28, how will you bring others to the table? What does that look like?
Well, I mean, we know we have a negotiations process that we have to respect and we have to support and we have to encourage. We need our negotiators to come forward with really robust outcomes at COP28. But now there's a huge non-negotiated side of COPs, right? There are so many other stakeholders who come and participate. And we need everybody. We need the activists. We need those who are really pushing and driving for ambition. But we also need the leaders of industry, we need CEOs, we need NGOs, we need indigenous people. We need everybody to come forward with their solutions and ideas. And that's how we bring people together. And through that process, we'll create and generate those creative new solutions and ideas that will take us forward. We've done that in our team. We have a diverse team, and what we're doing is bringing people from all sorts of backgrounds together, and we've come up with lots of great ideas. And COPs need to be about that. They need to be about a celebration of what we are going to bring to people and what we're going to produce and the future we want to see for everybody.
And how to capture the dynamism and ideas. You know, in this program and the panels and discussions that we've had so far have been so vibrant and very full of concrete, specific ideas about what can be done and also what can be done better.
Yeah, you said something earlier in the panel that I want to test you on. You said that everybody knows that some of these things will take a lot of time. I don't think that we should accept for that. I think that we need to be using the great ideas that we have coming out from some of these panels and saying, why can't we do this now? And why can't we challenge our leaders to have it happen now? And that's what the UAE is about. The UAE is about not waiting for tomorrow to do what we can do today. And I hope that at COP28 we can capture those exciting ideas and make them happen now, because we only have 7 years to 2030. And that means to address the issues of climate change, we need to make those decisions now.
Thank you for that. And I completely agree. And to clarify what I meant is, I don't think all of the changes that we desire and need to make can be made overnight, like literally overnight. However, absolutely agree with you that the time is now. Transformational change is needed. And as was stated earlier, the resources are there. The ideas are there. We need greater efficiency, the political will to act, and the opportunity to do so where other stakeholders are brought together to share those ideas and really move and the capital that's being mobilized. So I'm in agreement with you, but thank you for raising that again, just for clarification. And to that end, and as we're at the World Bank, IMF, I think it is inspiring action from the momentum that has been built, and really moving the dial and moving progress, making progress and moving forward. So from your perspective, and we've heard the perspectives of others over the last hour or so, what needs to happen here from a financing perspective and MDB reform perspective or other innovative financing that can move the dial and also that can be built upon in the context of COP28?
You know, I think that one of the things that's really made me happy over the course of this year is how I've seen the conversation change. I think at the beginning of the year when we were at the spring meetings, we went to many meetings where everybody was saying, oh, we need to do more, we need to do X, Y, you know, we need to rise to the challenge. It was all very high-level conversations. And I think that you've rightly pointed out today, the conversation is very different. The actions that need to be taken, we just need the political will for those to happen.
Thank you for that and being a catalyst in that effort. We're very excited to see what happens at COP28 and look forward to seeing you there in a few weeks.
And thank you for hosting these really wonderful conversations and driving that ambition forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.